Okay, good evening po sa inyong lahat, Batang Maynila, Toits po. Ito, panoorin natin itong paggisa. Literally, ginisa. Ginisa mga kaibigan ni Senator Chiz Escudero. Itong economic team na nagpupush na itong Maharlika Fund. At dito sa mapapanood natin, makikita ninyo na talagang hindi nila alam isasagot eh. Hindi nila alam. Ang daming tanong ni Senator Chiz Escudero, mga basic na tanong. Pero wala silang sagot eh. So, ibig sabihin lang, hindi talaga pinaghandaan itong Maharlika Maharlika Wealth Fund na ito. Kumbaga pinilit lang talaga. Pinasa dyan sa Kongreso, sa mababang kapulungan, minadali. Pagdating ngayon sa Senado, ang dami pong kulang. Kaya pinagtatatanong ni Senator Chiz Escudero ng mga basic questions. Tingnan nyo, tulirong-tuliro. At talagang makikita nyo, kumbaga parang tumatahimik eh. Natutulala sa mga tanong ni Senator Chiz eh. Parang yung idinidepensahan mo yung thesis. Na sa sobrang galing nung nagtatanong. Parang nangyari mga kaibigan, yung nagtatanong, yung pa yung nag-aral mabuti kaysa dun sa nagpupush nung batas. Baliktad eh. Kasi di ba kapag magde-defend ka ng isang thesis o isang sabihin mo ng project, dapat kabisado mo yan. Kahit ano itanong sa'yo, sasagutin mo. Dapat may ready kang sagot dyan. Pero dito wala mga kaibigan eh. Nagulat sila eh, kumbaga natuliro sila mga kaibigan eh. Hindi nila alam sasagot nila. Wala, nagkakabuyoy-buyoy na. So ito mga kaibigan, panoorin po ninyo. Mahaba po ito pero nako, ang dami nyo pong matututunan. So sana po tapusin nyo po hanggang dulo para kapag tinanong din tayo tungkol sa Maharlika Fund, alam din po natin kung ano yung sasagot natin. So ito mga kaibigan, panoorin po natin.
What is the main objective of this fund? I've heard so many things from so many people that has changed so many times. So once and for all, ano ba yung gusto nating objective dito? We generate earnings via the investment fund in order to do what? Please.
First of all, sir, of course, we want to do a lot of things sa national government. But right now, we are constrained because we have very limited resources. But we're saying also, now we can tap naman from other sources. So, like in the case of Land Bank and DBP, right now, they have these investable funds that we call. And that's about 1.3 trillion in the case of Land Bank. Ma'am Cecil, please correct me.
That's correct, Treasurer Leia.
Yes, ma'am. I know that.
In the case of DBP, they have about 800 billion na investable funds. So we're just carving a very small portion of that. In the case of Land Bank po, less than 4%.
Ma'am, forgive me, ma'am. You're not answering my question. What is your objective? What do you want to accomplish when we invest these funds?
So we'd like to do more of the infrastructure projects. Of course, we have our PPP. We have also our national government projects.
Ma'am, to cut you short, the bill of Senator Villar says except infrastructure project. Nakalagay dito. Section 30.
Pwede sa investment, pwede sa business.
Yes, yung sa profits. Yung sa profits. I'm not talking about the investments yet. Yung kikitain natin dito, saan nyo gagamitin?
Yung kikitain, una po, yung una pong pondo, pwede pong gamitin for more infrastructure projects at hindi lang po infrastructure projects. But
No,
po,
yung pondo.
opo,
Yung kita.
yung ngayon po, dapat lilinisin muna natin to be able to provide for the contributions ng Land Bank at DBP.
Although wala pa ngayon sa bill, gagawin pa lang natin.
So medyo para may balik po sa kanila. Ngayon po may sobra, and then of course, yung pong sobra, 25% of that na nag-accrue sa national government contributions, ilalagay po natin for the social services, mga healthcare projects, and this could also be additional, no? Para at the same time, mas makakaluwag po sa budget, sa fiscal space po natin ng national government.
Ma'am, social welfare projects, it says in Section 35, excluding infrastructure projects.
Hindi po.
So yung kita, hindi gagastusin sa infrastructure. Puro social welfare lahat ng kita.
25%, sir, na kina-carve out. Yung po ilalagay sa social projects, so mga social amelioration projects natin.
Yung balanse,
Yung balance
na 75%,
ng MIC, pwede pong retained earnings na po yun, di ba, ng MIC.
hindi ko alam. Hindi nakalagay dito.
Retained earnings, sir, ordinary business operations that will form part of the retained earnings. So, pwede po yung paikutin para then it can again be leveraged para magkaroon po ng mga co-investments, ng joint ventures.
Ma'am, nakalagay po sa Section 35, doon pa lang muna tayo. 25% of the net profits shall be for poverty alleviation projects, provided the remainder of the net profits shall be remitted to the national government, earmarked for social welfare programs, excluding infrastructure projects. So, that seems to counter what you're saying, that 25% of net profits will be for social amelioration projects, and the remaining 75% is retained. Ang sinasabi po dito, the remaining of the net profits shall be remitted to the national government. Walang sinasabing retained earnings po sa Section 35.
Siguro, sir, baka that is something that we need to clarify in the bill. Kasi po, definitely, sir, hindi naman po pwedeng lahat, kung hindi po contributions ng national
Agree.
government po yun, mapupunta pa sa national government.
Agree.
So, I'm sure meron pong other co-investors that they would also want to get their money back.
Forgive me, ma'am. I'm basing my questions on the bill itself and not on what is not written on the bill. If you seek to add to it later on, then perhaps
Yes, sir.
the economic team can suggest the corresponding changes to address these concerns. Now, on the actual fund, net profits tayo kanina eh. Saan natin i-invest? Securities?
Pwede po. Meron pong listing dito, yung allowable investments.
Nakita ko nga.
Opo.
Securities, bonds, di ba?
Opo. And infrastructure projects.
Now, we're headed into a recession. Worldwide, globally. Are you conceding that point? Are we headed towards a recession globally?
Well, meron pong analysts saying na there would be recession in some of the advanced countries. But in the case of the Philippines, our view is that we will not be in that position.
Yes, ma'am, but globally nga, we will
yes,
be affected by the recession that's looming and coming. Now, that's not necessarily bad because in a recession, ika nga, kung may bloodbath sa stocks, now is the time to buy. Why not? Now is a good time to invest. But my question, ma'am, is when will we reap the benefits? Usually, if stocks are low, then it takes about, in a recession, global recession, it'll take about 2 to 3 years to recover. So, kikita tayo in 2 to 3 years kung mag-invest tayo sa stocks. Now, when you talk of bonds, when you talk of debt instruments, again, if we discuss it later on, DBP and Land Bank would want their respective ROI. I think it's DBP that owns the ERPs to MRT, right? Both? And you're earning how much? 18?
12% this time.
Overall.
So, if it's at 12%, and I presume, magkano yung portfolio nyo? Magkano ang ROI nyo sa portfolio nyo for the past year? Ballpark.
Our investment portfolio, Senator Escudero, is 1.3 trillion. And our average return on that investment in 2022 was 3.73%.
3.76. And on the part of,
73.
ang liit naman, 3.76?
Sir.
Ilan? 3.76. On the part of DBP?
Your Honor, on the part of DBP, it's close to 7%.
7%.
Return on equity, sir.
Yes. My question, ma'am, is if you ask now DBP, at the very least, that will be their basis. So isn't that like borrowing from them to the tune of the guaranteed supposed rate of return on their investment in other investments? So whether it's at 3.7 or 7%, so as not to be unfair to them, di ba? We should guarantee at the very least roughly those amounts. Kahit habaan pa natin yung period for the last 5 years, last 3 years, and let's average it off. At the very least, can that be placed in the bill? To be fair to them.
Yeah. Actually, sir, if they invest it in the GS right now at 5 years tenor, it's about almost 6%. So, yun pa lang
Even
po,
higher.
panalo na sila.
Ngayon, sa PAGCOR, wala naman silang ini-investan, di ba? Puro out yun eh. Yan, pwede kang maglaro siguro ng ROI nila. But insofar as Land Bank and DBP is concerned, we have to give them a respectable rate of return guaranteed based on the, pwede nga, sabi mo nga, pwede sa GS, 6% at the very least. Would that be fair?
Yes. Yes po, dahil GS lang, very conservative.
Yes, exactly. Next question, ma'am. Mr. Chair, I'll just have 3 points. We will have several hearings anyway. Next question, ma'am. I discussed this earlier. Paano yung composition ng board? Bakit isa lang ang representative ng Land Bank? Kung ang target natin is 100 billion, ano ba yung capitalization na tinitingnan nyo ng Maharlika Investment Fund? How much is the capitalization?
Sir, for the seed, so meron pong 75 billion from DBP and Land Bank. Tapos po, right now, if you will just base it on dun sa BSP, yung first 2 years nila, and base if it's the dividend last year of about 17 billion. Tapos po, meron pong PAGCOR na yung, again, if you base it on the dividend, so more or less mga 100 billion po. 100 billion pesos.
Ma'am, I agree with the more or less 100, but we are organizing this corporation by virtue of a law, not under the corporation code. Right, ma'am?
Tama po.
Hindi ba dapat may capitalization yung batas? This does not have any. It simply talks of the contribution of Land Bank, of DBP, 10% ng PAGCOR, baka may mag-invest ng private sector. I mean, that it's a law, it's not an excuse not to have a capitalization, authorized capitalization requirement. The bill does not, both versions, both the House and the Senate. So what would be, para kung mag-i-increase tayo ng capitalization, di ba? Hindi yung decision lang ng board, hindi naman IRR lang. Like with any other corporation, they should go through the process, and since this is mandated by law, i-amend yung batas just like the BSP charter. Di ba? Nung nag-increase tayo ng capitalization ninyo, we had to amend the law. The same is true here. Kindly provide for a specific authorized capital of the MIF. And going to the composition, kung 100 billion yung lalagay nyo, ma'am, Land Bank 50 billion, again, Attorney Mortel, I think, will agree with me that if the capital contribution of Land Bank is 50%, prudence and practice to protect their investment would dictate that 50% of the members of the board should come. Ganun naman yung corporation, di ba? 50% ng kapital galing sa akin, 50% ng board akin.
Section 9.
25% ng kapital galing sa DBP, 25% galing sa kanila. Where did this formula come from? Now, if you want proper corporate governance, hindi ba tama lang na Land Bank should have the proportional representation in the board to their investment so that they can protect their investment? Same is true for DBP, same is true for PAGCOR, same is true for private individuals. In fact, you allocated already representation for future private investors na wala pa naman silang binibigay na pera. Why will they have one vote similar to Land Bank who contributed 50 billion? Isn't that, to say the least, unfair? Isn't that going against basic corporate governance and practice? Ma'am, please.
Sir, sa Section 19 po, nakalagay, so we have yung 15-member board, yung Secretary of Finance, tapos po yung CEO na MIC, yung pong President, tapos yung Land Bank and DBP, and there would be 6 regular members representing the contributors to the fund, which are really Land Bank and DBP, in accordance with the proportion of their corresponding investments. So baka...
Ma'am, sa 6 lang nag-a-apply yung proportional contribution nila, hindi sa 15? Ganun ba yan? Unang beses ko yata makarinig ng korporasyon na ganyan. Na meron kang cap kung ano saan mag-a-apply lang investment. Now, let's take your word for it. For example, kung 50% ang Land Bank, 25%, ang capital contribution is 75%. That's less than 50% of 15. Again, I want to understand saan ang galing yung hindi natin sinunod sa isang korporasyon, yung capital contribution ng investors. And since we do not know yet how much the 10% of PAGCOR will be, bibigyan mo pa sila ng share dun sa 6. And then the private sector are given 5. You don't even know. I mean, sige, may independent director, but may academe. Nagbigay ba si academe? Si private sector na pipiliin niyo kung sino man negosyante siya, nagbigay ba siya? Did he invest? There must be some rhyme and reason behind it, why we're choosing the people to sit there. The Secretary of Finance sits as the chairperson. May contribution ba ang national government? Or counted na yung contribution ng Land Bank that he chairs as, no, I don't know. Is that how you look at it? I don't know.
percent owned po ng DBP, ng national government ang DBP at ang Land Bank.
So, ika-count ko siya. So, you have 8 out of 15. Coming from Land Bank, DBP, kung binibilang ko Secretary of Finance, it's still not 75%. Now, my question is, shouldn't it reflect the capital contribution? Mr. Mortel, sir?
Good morning, Your Honors. I will venture to provide my insights on this. I think the issue is cropping up because of the treatment of the kind of entity created. Here, it would appear, because it is an MIC, it would appear that it is a corporation. And that having so, the question of Senator Escudero perhaps is on the reflection if it is treated as a stock corporation. But if the entity is treated as a government entities with corporate body, then their submission could perhaps be accommodated. But not if the creation is entirely on the treatment of the same being a corporation. That's my submission, Your Honor.
My presumption, sir, is that's why we're exempting them in the salary standardization law, the GCG law. We're exempting them from everything. Payment of taxes, procurement law. The intention is for this company to operate as a private entity. That the principles of business would apply to this corporation and should therefore reflect to the corresponding interest and stakeholding of the contributors to the fund. Otherwise, it will be just like BSP. Created by law, kami nagpangalan ng lahat, national government nagko-contribute, okay lang. So, may I ask, Ma'am Lea, so is Attorney Mortel correct? Ang tingin nyo rito, hindi ordinaryong korporasyon, we will not treat it as a corporation, and yet you said in the proposed bill, you will treat this as an ordinary corporation wherein the rules of corporate governance would apply. Ma'am?
Given that the contributions are coming also from the state-owned enterprises, and eventually there would also be contributions from the national government, as we have cited from the proceeds of privatization, from some of the proceeds of the fiscal regime of the mining sector. So eventually, tama po, magiging GOCC po siya. But we are asking for the exemptions from the GCG, from the salary standardization, from the Government Procurement Act. So it would be running on a commercial basis.
So hybrid siya, ma'am? Ma'am, forgive me, ma'am.
Ganon din po kasi yung formulation sa corporations like Temasek, even like sa Indonesia. So ganon din po yung structure niya.
Yes, ma'am. But there are distinctions between Temasek and INA in relation to what we are proposing here. So just to clarify, so you're seeking to create a hybrid corporation that has all the benefits of a government entity, exemptions of salary standardization, exemptions of procurement law, exemptions of payment of taxes, both national and local, which will wreak havoc, by the way, because when they invest in stocks and buy and sell stocks, ang hirap i-track nun, ha? But anyway, we will go there at another time. But, and when you buy and sell properties too, government bonds, etc., etc. But anyway, my point is, getting all of those benefits and yet not being treated as a business entity that can function as if it were a private venture.
Hello mga nanonood dyan, mag-subscribe po kayo sa Batang Maynila Toits. Ay, mali, ganyan pala.